Welcome back, guys. It's Blackjack again, coming at you with episode 2 of the MTG Arena tutorial, walkthrough, playthrough, guide, whatever you want to call it. Today, I want to focus on allocation of resources. So, in my previous episode, I talked about how I wanted to use this account budget in mind. So, a lot of players out there may want to invest some money to buy gems to get all the cards, to be able to draft, to get everything that they want, and that's fantastic. If you have the ability to do that, Godspeed, go for it, no problem at all. For those of you who want to be a bit more budget conscious and maybe you want to put some money in every now and again, maybe you don't, maybe you just want to work off your dailies, this video is going to help you decide how to spend your resources and what to think about when you are making purchases of wild cards and things like that. So, first thing I want to talk about, as I already mentioned, is doing dailies. It's extremely important to do your dailies. Usually from dailies, you can afford about 2 packs a day, and that's fantastic. That's something that you don't have to purchase. It's something you can just earn through the game, and obviously it will build your collection as you go, just simply by playing. So I always recommend to do your dailies if you can. Usually it takes me about an hour a day. I'm able to play, get them done, and I can be done for the night if I want. Second thing is, always, usually you're able to earn a deck by playing, and these decks usually have a couple really important cards for great decks in the standard metagame, so keep that in mind. Make sure you're earning those decks every day that you can. Don't let a day slip by where you don't get a deck. So, first thing we need to consider is a card's lifetime in Standard. So what I mean by that is, if we think of the oldest Standard legal sets right now, it would be Ixalan block. So if we want to build a deck that utilizes a lot of cards from Ixalan block, that's fine for now, but how is that going to impact us in the future? Well, when it rotates, we're going to have to restart our collection, so to say, and find a new deck to build. So it's just important that when you're considering what you want to play, consider its shelf life. If I want to play a deck with Jade Light Rangers, for instance, from the Ixalan block, well, of course that's a fantastic card, but how much longer is it going to be around in Standard? Is it something that I really want to invest in? Or is there something from the new Ravnica block that I would rather invest in that's going to, 1, last longer, and 2, and this leads into my next topic, be used in a variety of decks. So the next topic is focusing on cards that we're going to craft first that are going to be used in a multitude of decks over their standard lifetime. So I'll give you a great example. I've crafted one card so far in this game, and it's Llanowar Elves. There's a number of reasons. 1 is it's a fantastic staple in green. 2, it's cheap because it's a common, so it's really easy for me to craft since I don't have any. And 3, it's going to be used over its standard metagame in a variety of decks, whether that be Sultai midrange, or Golgari midrange, or if a new deck comes out that utilizes green. As long as Standard has Llanowar Elves will be played in Standard. It's just that good. So it's important that you start off your collection crafting cards that you know are going to have consistency throughout their lifetime in Standard. So that's why Llanowar Elves is the only card that I've crafted thus far. The next thing is considering your playstyle. So you have to look at the Standard metagame. What's big right now? You have Sultai midrange, you have mono blue, you have mono red, you have, let's see here, different types of control decks, and then you have Drake decks. I would argue those are pretty much, the pillars of the Standard format right now, and if you're building something other than those or working something other than those, you're probably making a mistake, because a lot of those decks have shown month after month that they're strong, they have earned their place in the metagame, they're worth taking a look at. The great thing about having such a diversity of pillars within the standard format is that any playstyle that you prefer, you can find a deck that you could play. So the next thing would be, I apologize for the squeaky chair. The next thing to consider would be understanding your playstyle. Are you an aggro player? Are you a control player? Or are you a combo player? Now, we can get into a whole video about what combo means, but when I say combo, I mean let's things like the Drake deck. So the Drake deck is not really about controlling, it's not really about aggro, it's about being able to combo your Drakes with a lot of instants and sorceries to make them as big as possible to hit for as large of an amount as possible to win the game. Aggro, for example, would be like mono red aggro. And then obviously control could be a multitude of things. Sultai midrange does a bit of aggro and control. And that's why mid-range decks are so strong, is they can adapt on the fly in any given game as to what their role is. As we talked about in episode 1, are they aggro this turn or are they defense? And then we're looking forward down the road into our future turns to adapt our playstyle as we go. And that's why those decks are so strong right now, and that's why you should strongly be considering building one of those 5 pillars. So right now, if you look at my collection, I haven't gotten a whole lot from packs. I got Domri Raid, which was cool, or Domri Chaos Bringer, I should say. I'm too used to old standard metagames. We got Kumena, we got Simic Ascendancy, and frankly, a lot of other trash. Nothing too much to focus on, nothing that's really worth building around, so I'm not going to go out of my way to craft any cards in particular right now because I don't have anything pulling me in any given direction. So that's it, guys. This is going to be a really short video. Just a little walkthrough about resource allocation, what to consider when you're making purchases in this game, what you may want to think about purchasing, and what you should avoid. Again, big things, we'll go over them really fast one more time. Standard does rotate, so we need to keep in mind what we're crafting and its shelf life within standard and if it's worth our purchase at the time. Is it better for us to buy a Jadelight Ranger from Ixalan block that's going to last, X amount of more months, or is it better to buy a rare from Ravnica Allegiance that's going to be here for at least another year? That's up to you. It depends on your budget. But for me personally, I want to build something that's going to last, that's powerful, and that's also budgeted. So, Mono Blue, for example, in paper form is only about $70. It's comprised of a lot of commons and uncommons, and that's a great deck to start with for this particular metagame and for this particular standard format because it's going to be cheap for us to obtain on here, and it's also powerful, so that way we can play ranked and then earn more gems and packs through hitting, mythic or whatever level that we may achieve. So that's what I'm going to work towards, and that's going to be the next episode. We're going to talk about building a deck, what I look for in building a deck, and what I try to focus on when I'm building a deck. So thank you guys so much for watching. The next video will be out soon, and we'll see you guys later.